1995, the water in the rivers of the Netherlands is rising to record heights. The dikes are on the verge of collapsing, the safety of houses is threatened, and people must be evacuated. The residents of Kampen know better than anyone how important it is to be protected from floods. The city now has a unique flood defense system to protect its people, city and the hinterland from high water levels in the River IJssel. This is part of a dike enclosure, a flood defense system that must protect the area behind the dike. This includes Kampen as well as the hinterland up to Elburg. The entire dike enclosure consists of permanent dikes, except for the 2-kilometer stretch along the Kampen city front. This proved to be a very difficult location due to the fact that it's a monumental cityscape, and we cannot just build a wall or a high dike in front of this area. We then chose to include the old city wall in the construction. This was renovated and turned into a flood defense system. We therefore made use of houses, which must also be able to hold back the water. The open spaces have been filled with floodgates and shutters. All these devices must be closed during high water. Drawing up the plans for the construction of the flood defense system was very time-consuming. After the water rose to record heights in 1995, something had to be done quickly. In 1997, the decision was made to allow the historical city wall to play an important role in the retaining structure project. Dating from medieval times, this wall had always run through the back gardens of homes. In locations without a wall section, the flood defense system was built from separate components. In these locations, lift gates or flood doors hold back high water. The Water Board Groot Saarland is responsible for the closing of the flood defense system. A plan has been drawn up that determines when the structure must be closed. The process originates at the warning service for dikes in the IJsselmeer area. This organization maintains close contact with the Royal Netherlands Meteorological Institute. In conjunction with the Meteorological Institute, the warning service for the dikes in Lake IJsselmeer area determines whether or not there's a chance of flooding. The water level at Kampen can, for example, rise in the event of a combination of a northwest wind and an increased River IJssel discharge. In this photo, you see a situation where the wind is blowing hard from the northwest, and you see the water of the lake pushing up in the direction of Kampen. In particular, if at the same time a great deal of water comes from the other side of the River IJssel, then it's possible that flooding conditions will develop in Kampen and the flood defense system must be set up. If our calculations indicate that the water level in Kampen threatens to rise high enough, we call someone at the Water Board. The Water Board then contacts the IJsselvecht Regional Emergency Centre. They then ring all the volunteers for the Flood Brigade to assemble as quickly as possible by issuing a report by phone in a computerized procedure. Once a year, a flood drill is performed to exercise and test the setting up of the flood defense system. This is an alarm for the Flood Brigade of the Water Board Groot Saarland. You're being called for scenario 5. Please report to the dike warehouse at Tasveld. I repeat, please report to the dike warehouse at Tasveld. They'll be asked to be at the assembly point within an hour. You're expected to confirm, so I came here, and now I'm waiting for my next instructions. Once everyone's here, they'll then split into teams. These teams have been formed in advance. A team leader has a folder with instructions. He knows what the objectives are, and he delegates the tasks among his team members. We have all the materials stored in containers, so everything is ready to go. It only takes 15 minutes or so to load everything, and the drive to the site only takes about another 15 minutes. Now the only thing left is to make sure that the people are there too. It takes about 1 hour from the time of the report to the assembly here, so essentially we can be operational in Kampen in 1.5 hours. We have 200 volunteers in total. However, we've enlisted twice the normal amount of volunteers for Kampen. If we have to set up the full flood defense system in Kampen, then we need approximately 100 people. Along the Smalle Buitenkade, the flood defense system consists of a specially constructed wall. In the event flood conditions are predicted, the flood brigade slots a number of beams into this flood defense. In all likelihood, this setting up of the system will occur once every 2 years. We just pile these up, then another one's added, and a clamp is attached once the last has been set. And back there, these beams are tightened up. And then it's all tied up and can't go anywhere. It all fits, right? It's pretty hard work. These things are heavy, but it's fun, right? Yes, I like working with my hands, so it's work I enjoy too.
In de ventilatie. Ja, komt-ie. Ja, hier. Al die dingen ventileren.
Another important component of the flood defense system is the shutter weir. This is a plate installed in the road surface which turns upwards. In addition to the large components used in the flood defense systems, such as the floodgate weirs, the lift gates and the beams, there are other measures which must be taken in order to hold back high water. For example, the sewer system is closed off with valves. Flood planks are placed in front of the doors of houses and the flood doors are closed. This works as follows. These contain rubber seals which close off everything. The trick now is to get it closed. It's a fairly tight fit, but that's the idea. This shouldn't come as a surprise since it must be watertight, of course. The doors now shut very tightly. In the event of high water, a padlock's also hung on the door so that it cannot be opened. It's not possible to build a dike here, so a temporary solution must be devised. So we're going to build an artificial dike instead. Supervisor for UT, over. UT for Team 7 here, go ahead. We're heading to the Zendijk, over.
Ja, dit is het kantoor waarvanuit alle acties.
This is the office that coordinates all of the activities. We have various teams working on the key, and all the work which has to be done and problems which may arise are reported to us. Supervisor at the Blauwe Handpoort. I've checked the defense system to determine if it was in good shape, and it's fine. Once all the teams are ready and have got back to the base, then we go over there as well, as project team. After that, we'll conduct an evaluation. I enjoy this work, it's fun. And if a flood does come, we all get to save the city. The atmosphere is excellent. People are really motivated to build the flood defense system. And they're waiting for a real flood. Practicing is fun, but they're waiting until the water level is really high. I'm very pleased. It's a really beautiful flood defense system, very easily manageable. At the same time, we've beautified the Kampen city front, and Kampen's also got a facelift in the process. Something else I'm very happy about is that there's a flood brigade working here. The majority of the brigade's composed of volunteers, which means the population itself is also involved in this solution.